Joining me right now is Jason Knight, UFC featherweight. He'll be fighting Makwan Amirkhani at UFC Liverpool on May 27th. What's going on, Jason? Welcome to Kumite Radio.
Not much, man. Just trying to cook a meal for my family. Been, busting my butt trying to get ready for this fight and make sure I go out here and showcase my skills against this guy.
I see you're pulling double duties. You're the chef and you're the fighter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I gotta balance the family life, with the fight life all at the same time, and I try to make sure I do a pretty good job with that, so that way, I keep myself happy and keep the family happy all at the same time. You ever heard the saying? But they say, "Happy wife, happy life."
Of course. I know what you mean, man. You built a cult following ever since you joined the UFC in 2015. Did you expect the following you created for yourself?
Mostly my whole career, I always start out in, whatever promotion that I go to, I always start out as, a guy who's not really known. And then I go out there and I fight my hardest every time. And it seems to be something that people like to see, that they like to see that style. And, I don't know any other way to fight. I just go out there and I give it the best I got. I give it the best I got, and a lot of people like to see that, and I'm just kind of excited that carried over into the UFC, and I wasn't really expecting to be a fan favorite, but it seems like it's working out that way, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
For sure, yeah, man. Like I'm all the way over in Asia, and I'm talking to you, interviewing you, so you must be doing something, right?
Yeah, that's right, man. Today, this will be the third interview I've had today, so it's pretty awesome, and I think this is the fifth one this week, and I believe I have one more tomorrow. So I'm doing all right for myself. I'm going to fight in England next week, and I have fans coming from England and fans coming from Ireland. And it's pretty exciting to see that just a small town kid, and I've got a pretty big following so far, and I just hope that it gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, for sure. Recently, you posted a picture of yourself at 14 years old, standing in front of a dog kennel cage inside of a boxing ring. Take me back to those days as a young teenager, a young dreamer.
Man. But back at that time when I first started out, I really, the dream really wasn't even alive at that time. I was just, a bad kid that loved to fight. And, a guy introduced me to a place called the Fight Club in Mobile, Alabama. It's one of my buddies. He actually turned out to be my brother-in-law now. It's a guy named Jay Bullock. He introduced me to this place called the Fight Club, and I looked at it, this is a way to do what I love. I always loved to fight, and it always got me in trouble. But this is a way to do what I love without getting in trouble, without getting all the simple assault charges pressed and stuff like that. So I went at it full force. I called him, and I asked him, I was like, look, I'm 14. Can I fight? The guy told me, he's like, I don't care if you're 12. If your mom signs for it, you can fight. Well, I went down there that Monday. I signed up. I fought that Wednesday, and I haven't slowed down since. I've had a few different things. Like, I've had 3 kids, which that slowed me down a little bit. I got in some trouble, as a teenager. That slowed me down a little bit, but, the dream has always remained the same. In the beginning, when I was around 14 years old, it was just for the fun of it. And then probably around 15 or 16, it just became, like this is something I have to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to be in the UFC, and, it was the big dream that I just had to make happen. And, it's awesome to see that I finally made it happen, and I'm excited to see where it takes me next.
Do you believe that having kids at a young age, it helped you kind of get on the correct path and dedicate yourself more to the fighting aspect of your life?
I believe that, I believe it took me a while, even after, after my first kid, it still took me a little while to kind of settle down, get out of my wild ways. Um, I wound up, I caught a charge before I ever had my first child. I was 17, hanging out with the wrong crowd. And I don't know if you know what Xanaxes are, but whenever I was 17, I was taking Xanaxes, hanging out with the wrong crowd. I wound up, I caught a robbery charge. And after my daughter was born, I finally had to serve the sentence for, the robbery charge. I did 9 months in jail. And my daughter's, her first steps, her first words, all that stuff. And that was a real humbling experience. It was probably, the worst experience of my life, but probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. Because, after I got out of jail, it was eyes on the prize. I got to take care of my family. I got to do right. I got to make sure that my kids have a better life than I had. And, since then, after I got out of jail, I think it was maybe a year later, I made it to the UFC, or a little over a year. But, as soon as I got through that whole experience, it's been wide open, living the dream.
Now let's go back to your last fight against Gabriel Benitez last December. You were sick. You had strep throat. What kind of physical effects did that have on you during the fight?
Man, I don't really necessarily think that it was the strep throat so much that caused me to gas out. But I took a shot of penicillin, the antibiotics, and I've read up on it since then. And the antibiotics, they can drain your energy. Like during the fight, I could still breathe fine and everything, but halfway through the first round, my arms and my legs were like jello. And, there was really nothing I could do but sit there and take an ass whooping. That's pretty much all that happened. Whenever my arms and my legs went away, I was running on pure heart. And, whenever you get tired like that, you go into kind of like a desperation mode, and you go back to old bad habits and doing stupid things. And that's pretty much what happened. I got tired. And then after I got tired, every punch was wrong. Every takedown was wrong. Everything was just super sloppy. And there was really nothing I could do about it but sit there and, keep trying to fight through and see if maybe I could get lucky and finish him. So, that's kind of what happened. And it's a big lesson to learn from. From now on, even if I do get sick, I promise you I won't be taking antibiotics before a fight anymore,
May 27th, you're going to Liverpool, UFC Fight Night 130 versus Makwan Amirkhani. This training camp, what have you added to your arsenal of skills?
Man, I finally started doing strength conditioning. That's something I've never done before. I've worked a lot more on my stand-up, trying to make sure that, I'm not so much of a brawler. I love brawling, and I'm still going to do that, of course. But I'm trying to make sure that I'm actually keeping my hands up more. I'm actually trying to move a little bit more and stuff like that. Play a little bit safer, but, not play it too safe. Of course, I still don't mind getting punched. I still don't mind gritting my teeth and going in there and really going for it. I'm going to fight hard as always, but, try to fight a little bit smarter. Also I've worked on a lot of my ground game, a lot of my wrestling. I'm just trying to pretty much improve all aspects every day. And I think that, we're going to go out there and really show that in this fight.
Did you work with anybody outside of your core team?
Man, I went out to Donald Cerrone's for a week. I just got back. I went out there all of last week, and I got back this past Saturday. We had a bunch of guys fighting out here. Me and my striking coach, Brandon Davis, we went out, to Donald Cerrone's for that week, and went up there, got a lot of good work in with those guys, had a lot of fun, and met a lot of really cool people. And, I'm excited to go back out there again.
You're coming off your first back-to-back losses of your career. Do you feel that you have more to prove in this fight against Amirkhani?
No, I don't really feel that I have more to prove. You know, I think I treat every fight the same. You know, these are all high caliber opponents. They're all going to be tough fights, and you know, you got to respect them all the same. And that's the way I try to do it. I try to make sure I don't underestimate anybody. You know, I go out here and I fight the same way every time. I fight as hard as I can, and I try to improve every time. Any loss or any win whatsoever, I try to learn from it, try to correct my mistakes, and you know, I don't really care about the pressure. You know, it's not about win or lose to me. Of course, I want to win, but I'm going out here to have fun. I'm going out here to do what I love, and you know, if I get my hand raised, that's just an added bonus. But you know, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fight my ass off, and I'm going to have fun doing it. You know, the whole entire time. And man, I had a post pop up on Twitter. It was a post of Makwan Amirkhani. He was being interviewed by a lady, and I feel like he's really underestimating me. She asked him what he thought about Jason Knight, and he said, "When I think about Jason Knight, all I think is I'm going to kill him." And you know, you might beat me. You know, there's a possibility that I can be beaten. But there's nobody in this game that's just going to have an easy fight. You know, nobody in that featherweight division is going to have an easy night. So I can't wait to go out here and prove him wrong. You know, he said that she asked him, you know, what's his prediction for the fight? He said he's gonna go out here and he's gonna punish me. He's gonna make me bleed, and he promises that it won't go to a second round. Well, I put it like this. If it doesn't go to a second round, it's not going to be because Jason Knight lost. I can promise you that.
Yeah, maybe he hasn't looked at your resume.
Yeah, he said that he watched the Ricardo Lamas fight and he saw everything that he needed to see. He knows his boxing's better than mine, his wrestling's better than mine, his jiu-jitsu is better than mine. I don't know what he's thinking, but you know, I know that he's going to be a tough fight, and I give him all the respect in the world, you know, as I would any other UFC fighter. You know, he didn't make it to where he's at by being, you know, some kind of chump. And you know, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna expect to have a tough fight. But he's expecting to have an easy fight, then you know he's got a long night ahead of him.
Yeah, your opponent, he's coming off his first loss in the UFC. He's been out of action for 14 months. Being away from the cage for so long after a loss, is that beneficial, or should a fighter jump back in immediately?
I don't know if it's beneficial or not. You know what I mean? I hear people say ring rush or cage rush, you know, having rust and stuff like that. But the way I look at it, if you go out there, you go to your training and you put in the work that is necessary, you can go out there and win a fight. If they go out there and they fight just as hard as you do, then it's not going to be an easy night. You know, especially coming off of a long layoff like that. You know, I think that you know he's got me sadly mistaken. So I'm ready to go out here and you know put my heart on the line and shut this guy's mouth.
Last question before I let you go. This is your second time fighting overseas. Do you enjoy the experience of competing in another country?
Yeah, man, I love it. When I fought in Australia, the whole crowd booed me. You know, I walked out to the cage. They booed me on the way to the cage. They announced my name, and they booed me when they announced my name. All I did, I flipped them the bird, and I used it as fuel. You know, this fight, I've had a lot of people from England, you know, talking about they're so excited for me to come. You know, it's gonna feel like home when I get to England, and I'm hoping that's the way it is. But you know, if not, if they want to give me some booze, then I'll flip them the bird too, and you know, I'll go out there and I'll fight my ass off anyways. You know, I'm just more excited about the places that this career is going to take me, that this journey is going to lead me to. I'm excited to you know travel the world. this is something, before the UFC, I've never left Mississippi hardly. I probably left Mississippi maybe 10 times, and that was just to go 1 or 2 states over. It was never a long trip. But now I'm about to get to travel the world. Before this career is over, I hope that I go to everywhere. I hope I just go all over this world, and I'm excited about it, man. I'm super excited about Liverpool. It seems like there's going to be some really, really cool fans over there in England, and it's on the weekend I fight. The soccer finals in Liverpool are going on, and Liverpool's in the finals. So I'm really excited about that. Everyone's telling me that the atmosphere is going to be insane, and I'm just ready to go over there and soak it all in, and feel the adrenaline rush.
For sure. May 27th, Liverpool, UFC Fight Night 130, Makwan Amirkhani. Jason Knight's going to take him on. It's going to be, I think, one of the Fight of the Night candidates for sure. Whenever you're on the card, it's Fight of the Night candidate. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure England is looking forward to it. Thank you for your time, Jason. I'll let you get back to cooking dinner, doing your chef thing.
Yes, sir. I'm hoping and praying that, I'm hoping that he's able to back up what he's saying. I hope that he comes and he really brings a fight, because I promise you, Jason Knight is going to show up that night, and we are going to war. I plan on going out there, pouring my heart and soul out, and just make sure that you don't miss it.
Thank you, Jason, for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. You have a good day or good night.